Hey there, life editors! Welcome to another one of our live stream calls. I'm so happy that you're joining me today. So right now we are streaming live on my YouTube channel and on my Facebook business page. So go ahead and leave a comment and say hi if you're here live. We have a wonderful topic today, and this is something that I see all of my clients and me deal with from time to time. So you're definitely going to want to stick around for that. If you are enjoying these live streams, these weekly live streams that we're doing, leave a comment and let me know what topics you want me to cover in the future, because I really want to hear what things are going to be most helpful for you as you are editing your life. All right, so for those of you who are new, I'm Sage Grayson, and I am a former book editor turned life coach. I help ambitious women edit their habits, routines, and mindsets to balance their happiness at work and home. I'm a life editor, and so are you. All right, so we're going to talk about life editing, and a specific point about life editing today. Specifically, we're talking about imposter syndrome. This is something that I have seen everyone I have worked with deal with. I deal with it repeatedly, and I'm guessing that you have felt like an imposter at some point during your life too. Now, imposter syndrome can be really negative and feel really debilitating. But today I'm going to share 5 easy ways that you can defeat your imposter syndrome, because we're all going to feel it. We're all going to feel like we don't measure up. We're all going to feel like imposters. So we must learn how to defeat it and get over our imposter syndrome so we can still put good stuff out into the world. So you're going to definitely want to watch this video. Okay, so this part about imposter syndrome relates to step 5 of my life editing process. Now, the life editing process is my coaching framework that I use for all of my products and services and all of my coaching packages. And we're talking about step 5 today, which is make white space for personal self-care. Now, self-care is called white space in life editing, and that's because it relates to a book term. Now, in publishing, white space is the white space, the literal white space on a printed page where there's no text and there's no images. And white space gives the reader's eyes a place to rest. White space in your life, in terms of life editing, is self-care. It's where you get to rest and relax. Now, in addition to self-care, whatever that might be for you, reading, bubble baths, exercise, whatever, another part of self-care is relaxing the expectations on yourself and embracing your flaws. I want you to feel good about who you are as a person and feel confident every single day. I want you to stop obsessing over other people's expectations of you. And that's really what ties this into imposter syndrome. We feel that everyone else is judging us. So what exactly is imposter syndrome? Any ideas? Leave a comment and let me know. How would you define imposter syndrome? What does it feel like to you when you feel like an imposter? What situations and what circumstances trigger you feeling like an imposter? Well, for me, I'm going to say that imposter syndrome is when you feel like you don't know what you're doing, and it's only a matter of time before everyone else figures out that you are a complete fraud. Oh my goodness, like that is a horrible, horrible way of feeling. Nobody wants to feel like an imposter. No one wants to feel like we're just about to be found out. Imposter syndrome means that you feel like you're going about your day in any area of your life and you're just faking it. You're faking being a good employee. You're faking being a good business owner. You're faking being a good girlfriend or wife or mom or whatever it might be. You just feel like you don't measure up and you don't know how to be whatever that title is. You're just faking it. You're just going through the motions. You're all caught up in your head and you feel like you're drowning, like you're in over your head, that things couldn't possibly get worse. There's no way for you to get any kind of grip to move forward. You're just feeling like you're in quicksand and no one's coming to save you. Let me know if that version of imposter syndrome sounds familiar to you. And then lastly, imposter syndrome, if you're the imposter, if you're faking it, if you don't really belong, that means that you feel like everyone else in the whole world is so much smarter than you, and they're more competent than you. That's like a horrible way of feeling, like you don't measure up in any way. You're not smart enough at your job. You're not smart enough at school. You're not smart enough to be a good mom to your kids. You're not smart enough to lose weight, whatever it might be. And I'm here to tell you, as your coach, you are smart enough. You are competent. You are talented in so many ways. So even when you do feel like sometimes you're an imposter, and I feel like that way too, even after 10 years of running a successful life coaching business, I still feel like an imposter. And that's really just the fear talking. That's just really that critical negative voice in your head talking. It's your ego talking. And you do deserve all the good things that come to you in life. You do deserve any type of position that you get, any type of honor or reward you get. You do deserve that, and you are competent. So imposter syndrome might show up in your life as a critical voice. And it may be someone outside of you. It might be your mother-in-law, your sister, or your boss, or whoever saying critical things to you. But it might also be that tiny critical voice inside you, inside your own head. It's like the worst version of you talking back to you. So it might say things like, you're not smart enough to run a business. It's only a matter of time before your customers find out that you don't know what you're doing. It might also say things like, you are just one cupcake away from gaining back all that weight that you lost. Or it might say that you don't deserve that promotion, and everyone at work thinks that you suck and they hate you. That critical voice might also say things about your relationship. It might say that your partner would be so much better without you. They're so much hotter than you and smarter than you. And it's only a matter of time before they find somebody else and start cheating on you. Yeah. So leave a comment and let me know. Have you ever heard that critical voice in your head? And what is it saying? What is it talking about? Like for me, that critical imposter voice is telling me that I'm a terrible business owner and I'm a terrible coach. Even after 10 years of doing this and thousands of clients, I still hear that little voice saying like, people are going to find you out, that you don't know what you're talking about. So leave a comment and let me know, what area of your life do you feel like an imposter, and what type of critical negative thinking is going on in your head? All right. So we know what imposter syndrome is. We know how bad it makes us feel about ourselves. And we can really hear that voice in our head being critical. But let's talk about some truths about imposter syndrome, because I know it's really, really negative. It's really, really loud. It's probably louder than any type of good voice in your head. And it's hard to defeat it. It's hard to say like, well, I can't just get rid of my imposter syndrome. It's just there all the time. But here's the truth. Everyone in the world has their stuff. Everyone has their stuff. And you can't really tell what's going on with someone just by looking at them. You know this. As you're scrolling through social media, as you're looking on Instagram, everyone seems to have these perfect lives, but that's not the truth. And you don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes for that influencer that you really admire, or that business owner that you really admire, or your boss, or whoever. We don't know what's really going on. So we just imagine that these glossy, beautiful versions of what people are putting out there are the truth. And it's really not the truth. Everyone's got their stuff. Everyone's got something in their life that's not going according to plan, that's not going the best for them. Everyone does. Me too. I'm human too. And there are sometimes things that just don't go well for me. But people don't tend to put that stuff out there. They don't want to be seen as vulnerable. Also, secure people who are secure in themselves, don't feel the need to brag. Yeah. People who are secure in themselves and their accomplishments and their achievements and their talents, they don't brag. They're not the ones out there saying, look at me and my 6-figure business. Look at me and my healthy body. Like, they're not the ones putting all of their stuff in their face. That's really a sign of insecurity. Like, look at me, look at me, look at me. And a lot of that is like, once you start noticing that secure people who are secure in how much money they make, they're secure in their bodies, they're secure in their talents or whatever, they're not the ones bragging. They let their talents speak for themselves. They let their work speak for themselves. They don't have to brag because they know their worth. I want you to know your worth too. So if you ever feel like you have to put on a show and pretend like you're better than you are, or any little bit of happiness you get, you have to rub it in everyone's face, that is definitely a sign that you are suffering from imposter syndrome and you're not feeling secure about yourself. There is one good thing about not feeling secure about yourself. I know we're kind of talking all these negative things about imposter syndrome, but there is something good. There's a silver lining about imposter syndrome, is that feeling insecure is a good thing. It means you're a human being and you have compassion and empathy and self-awareness. And lack of feeling insecure, lack of insecurity is actually one of the tendencies of a psychopath. I'm just putting that out there. I'm no doctor, but if you look at the definition of what makes a psychopath, one of the telltale tendencies is that they don't feel insecure. Nothing about them makes them question themselves or feel shame or guilt. They're completely secure in everything about themselves. And so I'm saying nicely that if you feel a little insecure, if you're feeling imposter syndrome, if you're feeling like I might just not measure up, that's okay. That means you're a human being and you have a full range of feelings. And I want you to have a full range of feelings. So at least embrace that. At least embrace that you're not a psychopath and you do feel insecure from time to time. That's a good thing. All right. So that's the truth about imposter syndrome. Everyone's got it. Everyone's got their stuff. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and secure people don't need to brag. So now that we know what imposter syndrome is and the truth behind it, and we know that we're going to face imposter syndrome, it's just going to come up during our lives. How do we defeat it? When it shows up in your life, we need to figure out what strategies can we push it down and dissolve it so that we can move on and do our good work. Because I don't want you to give into your imposter syndrome. I don't want you to feel like you're faking it all the time, because that will mean you won't put out your good work. You won't apply for the job that you really want. You won't strive to be a better mom or a better whatever your title is. You won't put out the programs that you want to put out in your business. You won't send emails or market yourself because you feel bad about yourself. Or you won't go on dating sites or try to meet someone because you don't feel like you measure up. I want you to be able to defeat your imposter syndrome, dissolve it away, and push it away so that you can do whatever it is that you want to do in your life, so you can reach your goals and you can put good work out there. So now, here's the good stuff. I've got 5 ways to defeat your imposter syndrome. And these ways have definitely worked for my clients. They work for me all the time. And I want to hear if you've tried any of these ways to defeat your imposter syndrome. So number 1 is to adopt a growth mindset. To adopt a growth mindset. What does that mean? What does that mean? So I want you to approach everything that you're doing with a beginner's mind. I know it's really tempting for us to be like, well, I know how to do that. I know how to be a business owner. I know how to market my stuff. I know how to be a mom, whatever it is. But when you pretend like you know everything, it really shuts off your ability to learn. I want you to learn and grow and keep growing and learning throughout your whole life. But if you approach everything with a beginner's mind, with a growth mindset, you're going to be able to grow and expand in ways that you couldn't if you shut yourself off. So I like to tell my clients that you need to bloom where you're planted, and that every experience is not here to hurt you. There's always something to learn from anything that you're struggling with. So everything is here to help you bloom, like whatever it might be, a job loss, or you got sick, or you're dealing with a negative, toxic person. Think about, what are you learning from that situation? And I know some people like to say that whatever that bad thing is, it's happening for you, not to you. So the job loss is happening for you. It's not happening to you. If you think that everything is happening to you and everyone is out to get you, that's not going to give you any kind of energy or any kind of confidence to move forward. So think about that. What can you learn from these situations? Have that growth mindset, like, I'm going to learn from whatever this bad thing is, and I'm going to grow from that. I'm going to bloom where I'm planted and see what I can learn and grow and expand from whatever this is. I will tell you that last year when we were dealing with the pandemic and I was not able to do my live in-person retreats, that really hit me hard. Like, oh, why is this happening to me? Again, I was like thinking the whole world was out to get me. And it was super frustrating. And I wasn't able to move on from that until I realized, okay, so we're in this pandemic. What can I do? What can I learn from this? How can I shift my reality? How can I shift my products and services so I can still put my good work out there despite this obstacle? And I was able to do virtual retreats. I was able to redesign my whole Life Editor Academy mastermind group to be virtual instead of in person. I was able to do my Life Editor weekend event virtually, which was so much fun. And I was able to see the growth and the learning that I could do despite this obstacle. Leave a comment and let me know, when was the time that you adopted a growth mindset and what did you learn? What did you learn from that experience? How did you recover from it? All right, that's number one, it's adopt a growth mindset. Number two is to practice resiliency. Practice resiliency. And this means that you quickly recover from difficulties. So things are going to go wrong. We know that, that's just life. But I want you to roll with the punches and keep moving forward every time something trips you up, whenever there's an obstacle. So I know a lot of my clients are working on losing weight. And eventually there's going to be a time where you overeat your number of calories, or you go to a party and you just eat all the appetizers and all of the cake and all the cookies and everything, or you miss your workout like 2, 3, 4 days in a row. And it's really easy to beat yourself up about that. But if you practice resiliency, when you have an obstacle, when you have a setback, because you're human, you immediately get back on track as soon as you possibly can. So yeah, okay, maybe you did have a whole pint of ice cream last night. Get back on track with the very, very next meal. Don't say like, oh, this whole week is a wash because I ate ice cream. No, get right back on track with the very next meal. Or let's say in business, like let's say you wanted to publish a video every single week, but you missed a week and then you miss another week and you miss another week. And it's hard. It's hard. I want you to think about, okay, the past is the past. That's what happened, but I'm going to get right back on track right now. And you could call this the thank you next version of resiliency. Just think about, okay, that thing happened, that bad thing happened. Thank you. Next, I'm moving on to whatever is next, or I'm getting right back on track. What you don't want is to have that slip up or that cheat day or whatever it is to roll into something much bigger. You don't want it to be a cheat week or a cheat month. Leave a comment and let me know, when have you practiced resiliency? When have you gotten right back up on the horse after you fell? And let me know how that worked for you. Did it feel good getting right back on track? Or did you slip up and have like a week's worth of obstacles and setbacks because you couldn't feel that resiliency? All right, so that's number two, is to practice resiliency. And the third way to defeat your imposter syndrome is to say yet at the end of any challenge. So say yet, the word yet at the end of any challenge. So there's going to be things that are going wrong in your life. I like to call them challenges. I don't like to call them problems or things exploding in your face. But yeah, there's going to be things that are challenging. And it's really easy for us to wallow in our defeat and be like, well, I'm not a manager yet, or I'm not making 6 figures yet, or I'm not a mom yet, or I didn't get that job yet, or whatever it might be. Put the word yet after your challenge, because that opens up hopefulness in your life. So I'm not a manager yet. I'm not making 6 figures yet. I'm not debt-free yet. I'm not at my goal weight yet. When you don't put yet at the end of your challenge and you say like, well, I'm not at my goal weight, period. That doesn't give you any room for growth. Remember, we just talked about growth, and it stops you in your tracks, and it makes it seem like that challenge is inherently a part of your life. And that's not true. That you have a whole big, beautiful future ahead of you. So when you say yet, you open yourself for hopefulness, for thinking about solutions, for feeling confident. And I want you to feel all of those things. I want you to say, I don't have that manager position yet, but here are the steps that I can take to get that position next time it opens. Or I'm not at my goal weight yet, but here are the things that I'm doing to get closer to that. Or I'm not debt-free yet. Here are the things I'm doing to increase my income. Leave a comment and let me know. Have you ever used the word yet at the end of one of your challenges? Have you even thought about that? Like, you're going to have a challenge, but what can you do to open up that hopefulness to see, like, maybe there is a light at the end of the tunnel and I'm not stuck in this challenge forever. All right, so that's number 3. Number 4 is to use the word and instead of but. Use the word and instead of the word but. So it's easy to say something like, well, I lost 5 pounds, but I still have 30 pounds to go. That's really defeating. Or, yeah, I earned $30,000 this year, but I wanted to earn $100,000. Like, ugh. Just saying that word but means that any work that you did do is negated. Like you're saying like, oh, well, who cares that I did that work and I got that little bit? Who cares about that? I still want this huge thing. All you're looking at is the gap between where you are and where you want to be. And you're not celebrating or even acknowledging the work that you did do to get there. But when you use the word and, you acknowledge and accept the work that you already did, and you continue your process. So you could say, I lost 5 pounds and I've got 30 pounds to go. Or I earned $30,000 this year and I'm working on earning $100,000 in a year. Whatever it might be. When you say the word and, it lets everyone know that you are on a journey and your story is not over yet. So you did a little bit of work, but you still have more to go. That's the nature of life. You are always going to have new goals and new things that you want to achieve. And saying the word and instead of the word but lets you keep going. It lets you acknowledge the work that you've already done and the work that you're going to continue to do. Leave a comment and let me know. Have you ever tried using the word and instead of the word but? I think it's really powerful. It's a way to say that my story's not over yet, but I did all this work already and it's good. And you want to acknowledge what you did do. I think it's really easy for us. We fall short of our goals. We just say like, well, fine. Any of the work that I did was for nothing. And that's not true. You did get something out of the work that you did. So use the word and instead of the word but. All right. Number 5, the last way that you can defeat your imposter syndrome is to be imperfect and vulnerable. Oh, this, I don't know. I feel like some people are really good about being vulnerable, and maybe they even go really, really far into that too much information territory, that TMI territory. But I think there is a way to have a balance where you can be unique and show off your quirks and who you are as a genuine, real person. And when you do that, you're going to attract the people who like you, for you. One of the reasons that I'm doing these live streams instead of pre-recorded videos is because I'm trying to get comfortable being a flawed person. I'm not making sure that I'm saying the right thing for every sentence and I'm super polished, I got the right lighting and whatever it is. I'm just trying to be me. And I think people will definitely relate to you when you are yourself without trying to pretend to be somebody else, without being that imposter. Your flaws help other people be seen. I've gotten so many emails and messages from people who say that me being honest and truthful about the mistakes that I've made in my business, or recording videos when things aren't perfect and I'm messing up my words and my hair is looking weird or whatever, it gives them permission to do what they want to do imperfectly. So I want you to be imperfect, be vulnerable, and the right people will be attracted to that. I've told my other clients, like, no matter what kind of business you might be running, there are people who are going to buy from you because of you. I mean, I 100% know this. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of other life coaches out there, but my clients come to me because they like me. They like how authentic I am. They like my editorial style. They like being a life editor. They like my step-by-step processes. It makes sense to them. And that's different than the way other coaches run their businesses. So the right people will be attracted to you when you are vulnerable, when you let people see you. All right, let's recap those 5 ways to defeat your imposter syndrome. I want you to adopt a growth mindset. This is happening for you, not to you. 2, I want you to practice resiliency and say thank you, next, and move on to the very next thing that you can do to get closer to your goals. Number 3, I want you to say yet after your challenges. Be able to say, I'm not a manager yet, and that you are continuing to work towards what you want. Number 4, use the word and instead of the word but. So I've lost 5 pounds and I've got 30 more to go. That means your story's not over. You're on a journey and you're going to keep moving forward. And it also celebrates where you've been. It celebrates the work you've already put in. And then the 5th and final way is to be imperfect and vulnerable. Let your true self shine. Don't try to put on this false facade. Be who you really are. And the right people will be attracted to that. All right. What do you think, Life Editor? Are you ready to tackle your imposter syndrome? Well, I've got your homework for this week. I want you to give yourself permission to fail. Give yourself permission to be a beginner. Give yourself permission to try things that might not work. And these 5 ways to defeat your imposter syndrome will help you be okay with who you are and where you're going and what you're going to do next. I want you to leave a comment here either on my YouTube channel or in my Facebook page and let me know, how are you going to be vulnerable this week? How are you going to push past your imposter syndrome and be like, okay, I feel like I'm faking it, but I'm going to do my good work anyway, and I'm going to keep moving forward. I would love to read your comments and see what you're doing to edit your life and business this week and how you're going to be vulnerable. So leave a comment on my YouTube channel or in my Facebook page. I would love to hear what you're working on. All right. I don't see any other comments coming in, so I'm going to wrap up this call. But if you are watching this replay, go ahead and leave a comment. I see all the comments as they're coming in, and I would love to continue this conversation with you. All right, Life Editors, if you have a topic that you want me to cover on our next live stream call, leave a comment and let me know. I will really want to work on providing good content that is actually helping you and offering solutions that are going to work for you in your life. All right, Life Editors, thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm wishing you so much luck as you defeat your imposter syndrome, and I will talk to you again real soon. Bye.